started, shall we? Yeah.
Hi everyone, we're back again. This is Loki, my 6-year-old German Shepherd, who is also my mobility service dog. And then, I don't know if you can see her, I hope you can, but this is Belle, and she is our 6-year-old Border Collie, who is our, what I call our for fun dog. So she's not a service dog or anything. She is a therapy dog, so she does do some work, and she is well trained, but she's not a service dog. So today's video, I wanted to go over my service dog gear. So what we use every day when we go out. So I think we will just start with the harness. I only have one harness for him. You know, I'm a gear hoarder in a sense, but it's mainly on collars and leashes. So I'm just showing you the gear today that we mainly use when we go out in public. Hi. And when we go outside, and not the horde of collars and leashes that I have packed away. So this is his mobility harness. On the front it says mobility dog, which in retrospect was kind of poor planning because people can't read that when it's on his chest. And then on the back we have, I'm going to cover those tags because they have my address on them. So on the back here is the pull strap that I use whenever we are walking. And then it says service dog twice. Again, kind of poor planning. I have patches that are coming that are leash straps, and they're going to go on the sides here so that people can see him a little bit better and recognize him as a service dog. You'd think that the neon green vest would be enough, but not quite for everybody. So, you know, it just goes under his belly and hooks in. I know. Hooks in like that. The reason that I don't have a flat front harness is because if they pull on a flat front, they can do mobility work in that, but it's a lot easier for them to pull in a Y front harness because it distributes the weight more evenly on their body than a flat front. So that is his harness. So we are going to move on to leashes. So I have a little 2-foot leash here, and I love this little leash. I will, if we're going out in public and it's going to be a short trip, it's not real long, I'll use this leash. I just wrap it around my wrist. You know, it's clipped into Loki, that's up here, and it's the perfect length for it to be clipped into him and me holding onto the harness at the same time. So that's super duper easy, and highly recommend this 2-foot leash for mobility work especially. You know, not all of Loki's tasks are going to be able to be done whenever he is tied to me with a leash. So this one gives me the freedom to let go, and he's still technically leashed out in public. Although with service dogs, if there is a task that they need to perform that requires them to be off leash, they are allowed to do so, as long as they are under your control, which goes to my next one. So this is my hands-free leash. And this is my favorite leash. This is from Active Dogs. Oh, I should say, this little 2-foot leash, this braided leather leash, that is absolutely beautiful. I got it off of Chewy for like $8. Love this leash. Favorite leash ever. Second favorite leash. This one is my hands-free leash. This one is from, activedogs.com. That's also where we got my harness from. Is Active Dogs. They have good pricing and their stuff is good quality, so I don't have to worry about it, you know, wearing out. His harness, we've been using it pretty much every day for the past probably 1.5 years or so, and there's no sign of wear and tear on the vest. It's still as good as it was whenever we first got it. So very, very high quality, and they sewed all my patches on for me when I ordered it from them, so that was also really nice of them. And I also got to pick the color, and I could pick where the fleece was for him. It did come with fleece that covered these on the sides here that would go under his armpits and down by his belly. I decided to take them off. They were just getting messy and they were sliding around, so I decided to take them off, and he hasn't had any rubbing issues. You know, this is fitted well enough that he hasn't had any issues with it. Anyway, back to the hands-free. So one of the reasons I like this hands-free so much is if we're on longer outings, then I can have him, you know, at my side, or if I'm in a grocery store and I need to reach for something, I can. And it also has a service dog tag on it. It just says service dog, you know, nothing special, but that gives a little bit of extra visibility for him, since the vest is not totally visible to everyone out in public. So this one has a few different configurations that you can use. This is the one I mainly use. So I'm hooked up onto the highest strap. There are several D-ring hooks here, which is wonderful. So you can make this as long or as short as you want it. This would be a really, really short leash. If you hooked it all the way down here, that would be really short. So there are, you know, tons and tons of different ways. If you wanted to reverse it, you can have, you know, a regular looking leash on him. Then if you reverse it, make the handle, then it's about a 6-foot leash. So this one's really, really nice. I highly recommend all service dog handlers, if it helps you with your disability, to get a hands-free leash, because this is my staple. I wear this every day that I kick him out. So hands-free leash from, again, activedogs.com. Highly recommend. All right, collars. This is the collar that he wears every day, and he feels very naked right now because he doesn't have it on. This is a collar that we picked up from, I think this one was Petco, and it's just a regular flat buckle collar. Just comes apart, nothing special. This is the one that he uses now. Like I said, he wears this every day, but not only that, I mean, we also clip into this with our leashes, you know, so his tags are not on his collar. His tags are on his vest. It's just a personal preference. You can have them on a collar if you want. They don't have to be in any specific place, but I don't keep them on his collar. So regular flat buckle collar, super cool, from Petco. The other collars that we have used, and I don't use this one anymore. This is a prong collar. This is a Herm Springer prong collar. Now, I do believe in using training tools. So, you know, I do believe that this helped Loki a lot, especially in his beginning stages of work. I do not think that this is abusive to the dog. And this really helped him to learn where the leash was, how long he had, you know, all of that. And it was less dangerous for him than the flat buckle. You know, if dogs are pulling and pulling and pulling on the flat buckle, it's just going to come across their trachea and it's going to, you know, choke them out. But the nice thing about the prong is that if it's used correctly, and that's the thing with all of these training tools I'm going to show you, is they have to be used correctly. So if you are an amateur dog person or a first-time dog owner, or you are trying to train your dog by yourself and you have not worked with these tools before, please don't work with these tools. You can seriously hurt your dog, but when used correctly, these are wonderful tools that will really speed up the process of training and really help the dog to have a clear picture of what it is that you're wanting. Anyway, public service announcement done. But this is the prong collar. This one, again, it's a Herm Springer prong collar, so this one is pretty good. I like that the teeth go in 2 different directions. That's very, very helpful. We're using this on Willow right now. Loki doesn't really need this anymore. We've graduated from our training tools, you know, and that's the goal with all the training tools, is these are tools. You know, Loki can walk on a nice slack leash without pulling, or especially with me, he doesn't pull. And he can do it without these for prong or brain part line. Or a slip lead or a choke chain or any other kind of correction. So the goal with all of these training tools is to eventually graduate from them and not need to use them, but it will help speed up the training process while you do have them. So we did use this prong for a while. Now we're using it on Willow, and Loki's just on his flat buckle. The last one that we use, different kind of collar, and this one I have on him pretty much every day. Couple reasons for that. First of all, we do not have a fenced backyard, so I keep Loki on an e-collar. This one is an e-collar by Sport Dog. And it's a really, really nice e-collar. This e-collar can reach over half a mile. Not that we've ever had to go over half a mile from each other, but you never know. This is the Sport Dog e-collar, and it's wonderful. Whoops, as I throw it across the bed here. All you have to do is turn it on, and I have it set on vibrate, and then I know you probably can't hear it vibrate. Oh, wait, it does light up. No, it doesn't. Only lights up when it shocks. So whenever I put it on stim, and if you've ever had physical therapy and they put those, like I've had tons of physical therapy, but they put those nodes on your muscle or wherever you're having pain, and it's that kind of a tingly feeling that goes through your body. That's exactly what this is. I've put this on myself. I've cranked it all the way up. It's a muscle twitch. This is not a shock collar. This is a stimulation collar, which is two completely different things. So anyway, but whenever I push the button on here, a red light shows up on the collar. Hope you can see that, and a green light shows up on the remote here, so that I know that I'm correcting and that he's receiving the correction. I very rarely, preface, or correction, I very rarely have to use the e-collar anymore. We do have it on him at all times, just in case we need it, especially since, we don't have any other kind of correctional tool on him, like a prong or a choke chain. So we do have this on him when we're out in public. Again, we don't really need it. He is trained that there is a tone, and I'll see if you guys can hear it. Hopefully you heard it. That tone just means you did something wrong, fix it. And I don't even need to touch any of the other buttons. He goes, oh crap, my bad. And he'll back up if he was a little bit out of heel, or he will brace a little bit harder if he wasn't bracing hard enough, or, whatever it may be. So this is an invaluable tool that, especially since, like I said, we don't have a fenced-in backyard, so we have this on him, and this allows me to have peace of mind that he's not going to go anywhere besides our yard. Not that he would. He's very well trained and he listens to his commands very well, but you never know. So, e-collar, love this tool. Again, if you don't know how to use these tools, please don't use them and try and figure them out yourself. You can hurt your dog with these tools. Okay, I can't say that enough, but with proper training, and of course you can ask me questions if you have any questions about these tools, and I can tell you how to use them, but please don't use these tools without supervision or advice from a professional, because they can hurt your dog, or they can get your dog really confused, or if you're trying to fix like an aggression problem like I had with him when I first got him from the shelter, these can make it worse if you don't use them correctly. So, or in my case, we did have professional help right when I got him from the shelter, and these helped the aggression problem. They got rid of the aggression problem with a lot of work and a lot of training. But please, again, do not use these unless you're consulting a professional, because they can hurt your dog. But I love these tools. I highly recommend them with advice from a trainer. So I'll say that a lot during this video. Okay. The last thing for just Loki that we use are his shoes. These are rough wear shoes, and I really like these. They are one of the only brands of shoes that I have found that don't slide around on his feet, so these will actually stay facing the correct direction. The only downside to these shoes is that, so Loki still has his front dew claws on, and I have found that with his dew claws, they rub on the inside. Even if I keep this claw cut really, really short, they do rub on the inside of his paw. So they recommend that you get the socks for him. So we do use the socks. Downside of the socks are if it's really, really hot outside, this will make it even hotter for his feet, and they don't sweat. Dogs don't sweat. So they release heat through panting or through their ears, which Loki's lucky. He has very big ears, so he can vent a lot through that. And their paw pads, they do sweat through their paw pads. So that's a downside to using the socks. But on his front feet, I try and double sock so that, let me see, here's one. So I do double sock. I have a small sock that will fit up to the dew claw. And then there's a little hole there. So I put it up through the dew claw, and then I let the dew claw stick out, and I put the dew claw down, and then you put the extra sock on. And that way there's just a barrier. So it'll go like that, do claws over here. And it's got a barrier between it and the foot so that it's less likely for it to cause problems and to rub. You know, we haven't figured out the perfect arrangement for it yet, but if it is raining outside and I don't want to track mud and dirt that are on his paws all the way through a store, then I'll put these on. If the pavement is really, really hot, if it's above 70 degrees outside, asphalt can actually burn their paw pads. So I use these if it's above 70 degrees. And of course, if it's freezing outside, I'll use these because that's not good for their pads either. Or if they have just laid salt down on the roads or on the sidewalks, that's also a really great time to use these because the salt can burn their feet. So that's not a good thing either. So these are wonderful for every dog. They don't have to be a service dog. These are great. They do a little shoe dance when you first put them on, and it's adorable because they haven't had things on their feet before, and you should film it and put it on like America's Funniest Home Videos or something because it's great. All right, the last thing that I'm going to unpack for you guys is my backpack. I take this backpack everywhere I go when I go out in public. This has other emergency supplies. It's got anything that we could need for a longer stay than we were expecting. So first, hand sanitizer, and this is a commodity right now because we went into bed to Bath and Body Works, and couldn't find this stuff anywhere. So that's gold right now, pretty much. Just saying. In the top of my backpack, so we'll just work our way down, I have bags, which you need for every dog. I have my keys, because those are important. I know. In the main pouch, I have some medicine for headaches or migraines. We've got an umbrella. I normally have an extra leash in here, just in case. I have water, in case I can't find a water fountain or something for him if we're out for a long time. And then I have, this is probably the most important thing I've got in there. This is a doggy first aid kit. And you just never know when you're going to need it. So I always have one on me. It's got gauze, vet wrap, ice packs, alcohol swabs, tweezers, gloves, emergency blankets, hand wipes, Q-tips, yeah, pretty much everything. So this one we have not had to use it, knock on wood, but, hope we never have to use it, but it is nice to have, and it gives me peace of mind that we've got things that can help them if we need it. And then, next pouch. This pouch, I keep his rabies certificate. There are places that have asked for his rabies certificate, so this is my copy of it, and yeah. Then I also have his pop-up dog bowl. This one I got from Chewy, and it's wonderful. And they store nice and flat, so they can fit in my backpack, and then they pop up, and that's actually a pretty good sized bowl. Gives him a good decent amount of water, and then I just wipe it off and put it back in here. So it's pretty simple. And last but not least, my front pouch. I have more poop bags. I am over prepared on poop bags, but you never really know. So that's all of his standard gear. This is what we normally take with us shopping, minus the prong, just because we've graduated from this, we don't use it anymore. But everything else that you see here, we do take with us at all times. I have the shoes in the backpack always, just in case the temperature rises or drops or the weather changes while we're inside, and that way I can put them on so that he doesn't track mud and dirt everywhere. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.